I'm Austin Tebby, a captain on the Russia varsity basketball team, and Fish Report Live starts now.
Coming to you live from Studio F in Russia, Ohio, it's the Fish Report Live Show with your hosts, Craig Fissinger and Ken Francis.
Welcome, everyone, to another Fish Report Live. It is Wednesday night, November 27th. My name is Craig Fissinger, and no, you do not need to adjust your sets. That is not Ken Francis.
I'm not Ken.
That's our guest host tonight, Colin Foster from the Troy Daily News. Back in our sound room, TK and Heavy D are back there like always. We're going to be talking to them in just a little bit. And Colin, like I said, guest hosting for Ken tonight. Ken's actually out this week. Had a little surgery on Monday. Hopefully a speedy recovery for him, and he'll be back here shortly. But welcome to the show.
Thank you. I've got some big shoes to fill tonight. Ken, you're a legend.
All right. Well, listen, I just told our viewers out there you work for the Troy Daily News. Why don't you tell them exactly what you do over there at the paper?
I do a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. I do a little sports. I do a little news. I'm kind of the utility guy over there.
Okay. Well, last year we actually did talk to you live on a telephone call, had you on the phone, talked a little Miami County sports, and tonight we're going to talk some more Miami County sports with you, as well as some SCL sports, aren't we?
Yeah. And we've got a couple good interviews on the show tonight. We got Grant Zawadzki, Troy Christian point guard, junior. And we got Katie Borchers.
Yeah.
Recently.
Ohio State's newest All-American.
Yeah, All-American. Pretty exciting.
And then we got a little feature on the Russia boys that are going to be coming up here in just a little bit. But before we get to all that, I do want to let the viewers out there know that Fish Report Live is now being broadcast on NK Telco cable TV channel number 3. And I want to welcome all the NK Telco viewers and subscribers out there. And thanks for tuning in. Fish Report and NK Telco have kind of partnered up, and we're going to be doing a lot of exciting things coming up here in the future, so looking forward to that. But let's get things started here, Colin, and one of the things Ken and I do on the show every week is a trivia question.
Yes.
Ken asked me a trivia question at the beginning of the night, gives me some multiple choice answers. I try to answer the question at the end of the show and hopefully get a little bit of help from my Twitter followers out there. But I told you to have a trivia question ready, so I'm excited to hear what you got.
Took me a long time to think about this. Okay. Which team in the SWBL led the entire conference in opponent's point per game allowed?
In the SCL?
Or, excuse me, SWBL.
Yeah, I think that's what you said.
Yes, SWBL.
Not the SCL.
Not the SCL.
Oh,
my
man.
bad. That was my bad. I got nerves.
No, SWBL. I'm not real knowledgeable on that, so I'm looking forward to some choices here.
Okay, you got Carlisle, Northridge, Milton Union, or Waynesville.
Carlisle, Northridge, Waynesville, or Milton Union?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm going to send that out on Twitter here and see if I can get any help on that. Okay. Try to answer that question at the end of the show. All right, well, let's get things started tonight talking some SCL basketball. And we're going to start out by recapping kind of what happened last year. Guys, if you could bring up last year's standings on the screen. And, Colin, why don't you go over those for our viewers? Okay,
we had Jackson Center take the conference, and then we had they had a deep run in the postseason. You also had Botkins and Laramie tie for second. SCL, always a tough conference to play in.
It sure is. It sure is. Yeah, Jackson Center, they're, like you said, at 10-2. Kind of, I don't know if you say ran away with it, but after that, a lot of parity in the league, that's for sure. And kind of unusual to see Russia sitting there at the bottom of the standings. It was kind of a tough year for the Raiders last year, but this year I think they got a lot to look forward to. Had a JV team and a freshman team last year that I think had a combined record of like 39-3, so a lot to look forward to there. We actually put together a short video preview of the Raiders and to show you just exactly what the Raiders do have coming up, and let's take a look at that. The Russia boys basketball team opens the 2013-2014 season this weekend, traveling to St. Henry on Saturday night. The Raiders have been busy this preseason with practices in the Claire C. Naveau Gymnasium and scrimmages against St. Mary's, Lima, New Knoxville, and Bellefontaine. Back this year for head coach Paul Bremagen and assistant coach Spencer Cadonier are 4 seniors in Isaiah Counts, Chase Hammonds, Kyle Poling, and Austin Tebby. The rest of the team is made up of juniors and include last year's starting point guard Nolan Francis and starting wing player Jordan Garrity. Other juniors include Bryce Cadonier, Luke Daypore, Justin Garrity, Adam Hoying, Gavin Hoying, Ryan Magato, Jacob Plyman, and David York. We talked to the 4 seniors about this season coming up, and this is what they had to say. We're here with Russia senior Chase Hammonds. And Chase, this being your senior year, what motivates you the most this season?
Coming back off of an ACL injury last year, coming this year and playing a lot harder than what I did last year to make sure I'm healthy.
The thing that motivates me this year is that my sophomore year, I was able to go with the team and go down to the University of Dayton and play for a tournament. And knowing that this is my last year, this is our last chance, so I'll just give it all I got and leave it all out on the court. Whatever happens, happens. Kyle, this being your senior year, what's motivating you the most this season?
I think just because it's senior year, last chance. This is what I'm going to remember for the next years to come. Might as well make the best of it.
You said it all. It's senior year, let it all out on the court. Not going to have last chance to put up a show, I guess. Team's going to look real good this year, I think.
Okay, and what part of your individual game have you been working on the most this season so far?
Definitely my defense.
Well, at the beginning of the year, I selected team captain, and I've really been working on my leadership to get everyone to play hard and then just keep them going, just whatever motivates them to get going.
Mostly rebounding. I think that's what I can contribute the most to the team, so mostly rebounding.
Definitely defense and shooting a little bit. Now that I can shoot the ball without my arm brace, it makes it a lot easier. So getting some defense, get some steals, finish on the other side.
All right, now you're hanging out with this team here night after night. What's it like to be around these guys for the next 4 months?
Oh, this is a great group of guys. We get along really well. I mean, these 2 grades get along probably better than any other 2 grades I've ever seen. These guys are just really fun. We always have little get-togethers on Sundays, watch some NFL football, talk a little smack.
It's definitely a lot of fun, like Austin said. Us 2 group of guys hanging out, juniors and seniors, we always get along, and it's a lot of fun messing around with them.
It's a great group of guys. We're serious when we need to be, but we sure have fun messing around and stuff. It's a lot of fun.
Explain what it's like to be around these characters.
We have a ball. We have a blast in the locker room. We get David's music pumping, get everyone pumped up for the games, and get ready to go.
All right, Colin, like the video said, and like I said, a lot to look forward to there with the Raiders. One guy I didn't mention in that video that was a starter for a lot of last year was Bryce Cadonier. I know he started a lot of games for the Raiders last year, as well as Nolan Francis and Jordan Garrity. So they got a lot to look forward to coming up this season. And I don't know if the viewers know this out there, but you actually played for the Raiders way back a long time ago and played for Coach Brett.
It wasn't that long ago.
Okay.
It wasn't that long
All right,
ago.
well, a little while ago.
Yeah.
But you played for Coach Bremagen. I want to ask you, what's it like to play for a Paul Bremagen team?
I'm not gonna lie. There were times where he yelled at me and it scared me pretty badly. But no, honestly, Bremagen's a great guy. He's a great coach. There's a reason he's been at Russia for 27 years, whatever it is. Like I said, Russia's not a big school. I think the year they made it state, they had the 3rd smallest school in Ohio. I think is what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they had a weight room until my senior year of high school. I mean, so it's not always the biggest or strongest or fastest kids, but Bremagen gets them to play hard, and I think all the other coaches from Dave Borchers, Spencer Cordani are a big part of that.
All right, well, we talked about the Raiders there a little bit. Looking around the rest of the SCL, I know it's not a conference that you pay a whole lot of attention to, but give me one team maybe that you're looking forward to seeing this year.
I think Fort Laramie. You look across the board. The size they go 6'8", 6'3", 6'4", 6'4". They got a point guard that's played for the last 3 years, Craig Folenkamp. So I think Laramie's probably going to be the hands-on favorite going into the year.
Yeah, that 6'8" kid is a Plyman over there. Actually, Kyle Plyman is his name. I think he played majority of the time on JV last year. Going to be he's a senior this year. Going to be playing all varsity, and a 6'8" kid is a tough matchup in the SCL.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
And it's I guess the teams I'm looking forward to watching, Colin. Definitely Fort Laramie is going to be one of them. I'm going to keep my eye on. But Anna and Houston actually have a lot of seniors coming back this year, and they're probably going to be two of the favorites. Jackson Center, like you said there earlier, they kind of ran away with it last year at 10-2. Yeah. Jackson lost 4 of their 5 starters. Got a kid back by the name of Gavin Wildermuth. But other than that, a lot of question marks over there. But like I said, Anna and Houston got a lot coming back, and looking forward to seeing Jesse Flippo over there at Houston. He's a 4-year starter, 6'5" kid, very good player. I expect him to be one of the best players in the county this year. But should be a lot of parity in the league. I think it's anybody's league this year.
SCL, MAC, those 2 conferences, probably 2 of the toughest in the state, in my opinion. All
right. Well, that takes care of the SCL for us. And like I said, I know you cover Miami County, and we're going to be talking about Troy Christian here in just a second. Yeah. But other than Troy Christian, who are some of the teams over there that you cover that maybe us SCL folks should keep our eyes on?
I think you always got to keep an eye out for Miami East. Alan Mack's a great coach. They got a 3-year starter, AJ Hickman. He'll be a tough inside-outside guy. I think in terms of just individual talents, I think you got to look at Patrick Bain of Bethel. He's been one of the better players in the county for the last couple of years. I mean, I really like what they're doing at Milton Union, to be honest with you. I think Rusty Burner is going to be known as one of the greatest coaches in this area when it's all said and done. And they got a player that's been there for 3 years, starting at point guard, Caleb Poland. Can shoot off the dribble, can shoot outside, so he's going to be he'll probably play at the next level somewhere.
All right, and then there is that team, Troy Christian, and we typically talk SCL and MAC on this show, and I think last year there was a lot of people that maybe questioned how good Troy Christian really was, maybe question their strength of schedule, but they go to tournament, Colin, they beat Fort Laramie out of the SCL, then they go beat the #1 team in the state, Tri-Village, out of the CCC, then in the regional finals they beat one of the MAC's best, Delphi St. John. I think a lot of believers, there were a lot of believers in Troy Christian after that.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. The talent, the experience, it was always there. When you cover a team throughout a year, you get to see some of their tendencies, and I thought as the year progressed, you could really see what kind of a good team Troy Christian became. Defense, resiliency, and I think when they made that state run, I mean, just the combination of everything coming together. Kids believing, great coaching, and kids that just didn't want to give up. It was great to witness.
All right. Well, one of the players they got back is one of the best around, and he's a junior by the name of Grant Zawadzki. We're actually happy to have him live on the phone right now. Grant, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, listen, I imagine you're as excited as anyone to get the season started. We haven't heard a whole lot about you over here in Shelby County since last year's state tournament. So tell us, what have you been doing since the state tournament to get yourself ready for this season coming up?
Yeah, a lot of things, really. I took a week off right after that loss, and the next day we flew out to Arizona for our spring break. Got my mind off of things and just really thought over the whole season. And then when I got back, I talked with the guys, and they really dedicated their summer and their fall to getting better. And we were in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. We were lifting 4 days, and we were running stairs at the dam. We just worked extremely hard in this off season.
Well, I know you lost a couple good seniors over there, in Nathan Kirkpatrick and Christian Salazar. Besides yourself, Grant, who are a couple guys that are going to help with the scoring this year?
Well, I'd say Spencer Thomas and Holden Varvel. They put in a lot of work this off season, and they really developed their game. They're taking on a new role this year of just creating overall. They're creating shots not only for themselves but for others, and they're called to be big playmakers now.
Hey, Grant, this is Colin Foster. How you been, man?
Good.
Good to hear. I know you've been playing basketball pretty much your entire life and starting varsity since a freshman. I'm sure getting to state was a big dream of yours, and now that you've had a little time to reflect on that, just tell us a little bit about what the experience was like.
The experience, it was truly awesome. I don't know how to describe it, but honestly, it was the best week of my life. There were great experiences. Going to the elementary and talking to kids. We went to Wright State and we practiced in the Nutter Center on their main floor. Watching Hoosiers the night before we left for Columbus with the team. All of that was just great memories throughout that whole week. It'll last a lifetime.
Craig touched a little bit on some of the key losses you guys had to graduation. I mean, you had Salazar and Kirkpatrick. Salazar was your guys' all-time leading rebounder at the school. We know Kirkpatrick was a phenomenal defensive player, great shooter. Do you think this group right here that you guys have in front of you has what it takes to get back to that level again?
That's $1 million question. To answer that question, I think we do have it in us. We understand how tough it is to get there and how it's going to be even harder this year since we have a big target on our back. You know, everyone wants a piece of us, but if we stick together and we compete, which I know we will, then anything's possible, really. And, you know, if you get to state this year, you don't run into a Vast J, and that opens up an opportunity to continue into the state tournament and possibly get a title.
All right, we both know that you're not the only Zawadzki at Troy Christian. Now tell me a little bit about what it's been like having your dad as a coach for the last couple of years.
It's a roller coaster. It has its ups and downs. I enjoy it though. You know, when he gets on me, it's tough to recover from, but you know, you just have to persevere through it. I've heard from a lot of people that everything's just kind of been given to me. From my freshman year starting, they said it was because my dad was the coach, and now it's kind of transferred to you're taking a lot of shots because your dad's the coach, but you know, you just kind of have to push that stuff aside. He does a good job of separating basketball from our home life. You know, when we get home, he doesn't talk a lot about the negative things that I did at practice or in the game, or the positives. We study other players, college, collegiate level, the pros. We do a lot of that.
All right, listen, hey, Grant, one more question and we'll let you go. And, you know, I know last season's over and you're focused on this season, but I want to go back one more time to that regional final game last year against Delphus. And I was in the building for that, and so were a lot of other people. Guys, can you roll that video on that? And I want to show this to our viewers there. You know, what a fantastic game. You know, we're showing our viewers right now the video of that shot that guys he took there at the very end. Those final seconds, you know, your fans here, all of a sudden they're going to go nuts in just a second. What do you remember about that, Grant, and how you felt at that moment? I mean, what were you thinking?
You know, I remember a few things. First, I remember just taking a deep breath and just really embracing the moment. Not making these next 3 shots that I have to shoot bigger than what they really are. Sticking to the basics. I'm going to step up, take a deep breath, 3 dribbles, and shot. I remember grabbing Spencer Thomas right before I went to the free throw line, and I just told him, you know, I'm chasing my dream right now. I've always wanted a moment like this, and here it is.
All right,
and then lastly, when I was shooting my free throw, I always touched the front of my number, 52, which was how old my aunt was when she passed away.
Okay.
And I was just trying to make her proud.
All right. I've seen you do that before. I didn't quite know the story behind that. So,
yeah.
Well, hey, listen, best of luck to you this season, Grant. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you in the gym or maybe even on the tournament trail there at the end of the season. But I want to thank you for joining us tonight on Fish Report Live.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Grant Zawadzki, Jr. over there at Troy Christian, Colin. And I know you cover him. You know him better than I do. Other than his athletic ability, what do you like about this kid?
He's a competitor, man. You can't take that away from him. Like I said, I've seen him for the last couple of years. I kind of know his game a little bit. He can get to the hoop. He can get to the line at will. And like I said, he's a competitor.
Yeah.
You like that in kids. I mean, and there's a reason why I got to state, and he was a big reason why. I mean, and I remember sitting in the press conference after the game, listening to the Villangela St. Joseph coach talk, and just he raved about the kid. The kid's a sophomore. I mean, think of what he's going to be. I mean, he had a brother that was a great player. It's a basketball family. He's going to be one to watch. He'll definitely play the next level.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that. All right, and that's going to do it for our basketball talk. We're going to take a short break, but stay right there. When we come back, we're going to have a little preview of a Big Mac football game coming up this weekend. Also, we're going to be talking to Ohio State's latest All-American. We'll be right back.
lost my baby. Finally gave up on me. I can't say that I'll blame her. She just got tired of playing losing game. I should suck on my pride and beg that girl to come back home. Deep down I know she's better off, 'cause fools like me are meant to die alone. Someone give me one good reason, one good reason to smile. I'm trying to be that guy my mother prayed that I would be. Some days I feel like in the mark, some days I fail hopelessly. I think I'm alright, I just stumble from time to time. Oh, my mother knows I'm trying to be that guy.
All right, welcome back to the second half of Fish Report Live. And Colin, how you doing over there?
I'm hanging in there.
You're
hanging in there. Yeah, I was a little shaky to start the show. I think the nerve showed a little bit.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a good job.
Thank you.
Well, listen, I know this is not the first time you've done something like this, because I was on the Troy Daily News website here a while back. I noticed you talking some football in there.
Yeah. I was pretending to be knowledgeable. No, I'm just kidding. It was a fun little thing we did, a little side project. I don't think a lot of the newspapers locally do a show like that. We had a great intern who spliced together all the footage, Jamie Freeman, and we had a lot of fun doing it. We really did.
Yeah, it looked pretty good.
Thank you.
All right, listen, we've done talking basketball. We're gonna go back to our sound room now, and like I said, there's a big MAC football game coming up this weekend, and I believe Heavy D's got a preview for us on that. Heavy D, you want to take it away?
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to a couple Flyer and Blue Jay fans today. I didn't understand the true rivalry between Delphos St. John's and Marion Local until I really got into it with these guys today. It's really a love-hate relationship. They love to beat each other, and they hate to lose to each other. You talk about head-to-head the last couple of years, a couple of meetings in the state semifinals, 2009. Delphos has won the state in 2008. They won it again in 2010. And, of course, we know Marion Local's story. They've won it the last 2 years, and they're looking for their third in a row. Delphos really strong in the backfield. They got Jenninghoff and McClellan back there, two really powerful running backs. Marion Local lives and dies with the passing game. They got Adam Berkey back at full strength. His hand is healed. Seen him a little bit last week in some action last week against Covington, playing in the safety position. It's going to be a real good matchup. We're talking this Saturday, 7 o'clock at Wapak. It's going to be a good one. I think the weather's going to be a little bit cold, and I think that's going to probably ground game for Delphos. May have the edge on the ground game, but you never know. Marion's got the experience, and they're going for a three-peat. So it should be a real good matchup.
Yeah, I saw some amazing stat last week, Heavy D. I believe it was halftime of all those MAC games, and somebody said the MAC was up in all three of their games like 138-0 or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and this matchup is no different. They've played each other 40 times over the years, and right now they're tied 20-20. So
Wow.
this is a big one.
All right, well, that's good stuff. I want to go to UTK. You know, last week we actually previewed girls basketball, and I know the season isn't quite a week old yet, but any highlights so far in this first week of girls basketball?
Yeah, take a peek in at the SCL. Obviously, we talked last week. The team to look at, the team to watch is Fort Laramie, with Anna losing a lot of their starting players from that state championship team up in Anna. But Laramie bringing back, I think it's 9 letter winners and 8 seniors coming in. They start to a big start this weekend, going 2-0, really taking it to a Lehman team. And then last night, beating New Knoxville. They're again 2-0. Rushi, our hometown team here, going 2-1 opened with a tough loss to Sydney Yellow Jackets Friday night, but coming back with two solid wins after that. Real quick peek over in the MAC, our neighbors, the Versailles Tigers, tops in the MAC last year, coming off of a Versailles volleyball state championship. Start out the weekend 2-1 as well, so a nice weekend for them. A tough loss early in the weekend to Eaton, a tough team down in Eaton, but again 2-1, and they're looking tough over in Versailles as well.
All right, you mentioned Fort Laramie, and I think everyone expected them to play well this year. And it looked like the Raiders gave Botkins all they could handle last night or Tuesday night in that game.
Yeah, I had a chance to go to the game last night. We talked to Don Mack last week at Cruisers, and no doubt he had the girls ready to play. A young squad, like Coach Mack mentioned, but they came out very aggressive and actually had a 22-16 lead going into the second quarter. Coach Hatcher pulled a couple sharpshooters off the bench. We put together a run of like 31-2 against them, and I think within that run we had about 7 or 8 threes, and just kind of pulled away and went from there. So, but Botkins will have some wins this year. They're a good solid team, a little bit young, but they're aggressive and they're hungry.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for that report back there. And Colin, we're, I want to kind of change levels on you here. Usually we like to talk high school sports, but occasionally we talk a little college sports. And you okay with talking some college sports tonight?
That is fine with me.
All right. Well, The Ohio State University had something happen last weekend that's never happened there before, haven't they?
Yeah. Katie Borchers, Russia alum, became the first female All-American cross-country runner. Congratulations, Katie.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing for a university of that size, and it's been around that long. That's the first time they've ever had an All-American and women's cross country. I actually went to that meet or that national championship myself, the first national championship of any sport I've ever been to. It was over in Terre Haute, kind of a short drive or an easy drive over there, a 3-hour drive to Terre Haute. But there wasn't anything easy about that race. I got over there, Colin. It was wet, it was muddy, it was cold, and I'm bundled up with about 3 layers on. And here these runners are out there with short shorts and tank tops on, and just had to be brutal. But, Katie sure made a lot of people I know back in Columbus, Ohio, and over here in Russia awfully proud. We're actually happy to have her live on the phone right now. Katie, welcome to Fish Report Live, and thanks for joining us. Katie, are you out there?
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, listen. Hey, congratulations again on all you accomplished last weekend. And I was actually talking to your mom on Monday, and she told me when she woke up Sunday morning, she asked her dad. She said, "Did that all really just happen?" And of course, she said he just laughed. But I want to know what you were thinking Sunday morning when you woke up.
Well, my first thought was that I was really sore and really tight. So it kind of took me a while to get moving, but I kind of had a similar reaction. Like I couldn't really believe it, but it's a good feeling.
I was just telling my co-host here, Colin Foster, that I don't know if I've ever been to a cross-country meet where it's been as cold and as wet and as muddy as it was there on Saturday. How do you prepare yourself mentally for those kind of conditions?
Well, I try to look at everything in kind of a positive way. So I was just, telling myself that everybody's running in the same conditions, and so you just have to kind of go out there and run.
Hey, Katie, this is Colin Foster. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I've been doing all right. My dad wanted me to pass along his congratulations to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
I know you had a pretty decent cross-country coach. I said decent. In high school. I'm sure you channeled some of that into your experience. I know you ran solo Saturday. How does that kind of make a difference without run without a team?
Yeah, it does. Kind of when you're in your hotel room before the race, it's just you and your thoughts. You don't have, your other teammates there to say a joke or something like that. But actually, the majority of them did come and support me at the meet. So that was really nice of them. So it was kind of, they were there, but they just weren't running beside me. But yeah.
Okay. Now I know you're moving on to indoor track soon. What are kind of your goals for that season?
Well, at the beginning of the season, I'm just gonna kind of go out there and just compete, and then as the season goes on, I'll try to run some PRs and perform well at the Big Ten meet, and then hopefully make it to nationals and some events. So.
All right, Katie. Hey, listen, one more question, and I got to ask you, where is that All-American medal hanging right now? And I hope you don't tell me it's laying on the floor back at in your house on campus somewhere.
No, it's at home with me. Right now, it's laying on the kitchen counter. So I'm not sure where it's going to end up, but somewhere special for sure.
I tell you what, if it was me, I'd be wearing that thing around. I think for the last week.
No doubt about it.
All right, well, listen, Katie, we'll let you go. I want to say congratulations again. Make sure you get a little bit of rest before that indoor track season starts. And thanks for joining us tonight on Fish Report Live.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that was Ohio State junior Katie Borchers, Ohio State's first female cross-country All-American.
You said that's hard to believe.
I got something I was thinking about this, Colin. Have you ever been to the Ohio State track and seen that bronze statue of Jesse Owens out in front of the track?
Of course.
There it is right there, actually. That's Jesse there. He's out there. And I was thinking, I don't know what Jesse did to deserve that statue, but, Katie is Ohio State's first female cross-country All-American. Don't you think she should have her own statue?
I don't see why not.
Look
at how good
there
that
you go.
looks.
That's exactly what it would look like, and that's what I was thinking. That's what I had in my mind there. I think Katie Borchers deserves her own bronze statue in front of the track there at Ohio State.
Make it happen, Ohio State.
All right, I'm going to talk to a few Ohio State people, see if that's something we can work out. All right. Well, listen, that's going to about wrap it up for us tonight. Do have one more thing to get to, and that's that trivia question you asked me at the beginning of the night. Why don't you give it to me again? Give me my answers, and I'm going to check on Twitter here, see if I got any help.
Okay, the trivia question was, who led the entire SWBL in opponents' points per game allowed? Was it Carlisle, Northridge, Waynesville, or Milton Union?
All right. Well, I do have a little bit of help here on Twitter. A guy by the name of Raider42, who happens to be an assistant varsity coach for Russia, is giving me the answer of Waynesville. I know that guy knows his basketball pretty well, so I'm going to go with Waynesville.
You are actually incorrect. It was Milton Union.
Oh.
They gave up 47.9 points a game last year, and it was the second best effort in school history.
Well, I guess I just got one thing to say. It's probably a good thing Russia doesn't play any SWBL teams.
Yeah. Spence, nice try.
All right, well, listen, that's about going to do it for us tonight. Do want to say some thank yous tonight. I want to thank the Russia boys for talking to us in that little video that we showed earlier. I want to thank Grant Zawadzki and Katie Borchers for joining us. And I want to thank you, Colin, for coming in and helping us out here tonight.
It was a pleasure.
Hopefully Ken will be back next week, and if he is, he'll be sitting in this chair. But if he's not, maybe we'll give you a phone call. That sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Until then, have a great rest of the week, and good night, everyone.